Steve Peters with PHNX. Here we are with another edition of Walkin and Talkin. Familiar face today. Today we got Josh Doan walking and talking. Josh, we have to ask, how did first day go of development camp?
Good. The first day is always a little bit harder. You get a couple tests out of the way early, and it makes it a little bit more difficult. But I think it's definitely something that the guys all like and enjoy get on the ice together for the first time. And it's good.
So now, Josh, we've walked and talked. I've walked and talked with Keller. I've walked and talked with Schmaltz. This is going to be an official first on Walkin and Talkin. You can get Josh to sign that. Has he? You can go ahead and sign it. We're going to actually have to take a pause while Josh signs an autograph on Walkin and Talkin.
A few moments later.
So back to this. Do you have an advantage because of the heat, do you think? I mean, it's hot here. Like, this is what you train and this is what you grew up in. Do you think that gives you an advantage here?
Yeah, I think they talk a lot to the guys about drinking water and trying to maintain your energy when you come outside, but a lot of the days spent inside, so it's cold enough in every rink. It doesn't change because we're in Arizona. It's just the outside part of the day. So these times of the day when it's a little bit draining and you're out of energy, I don't think it wears me out as much, that's for sure.
But have you been like the de facto tour guide of Arizona here? Like, you know your way around the ice stand.
Yeah.
Clearly, been skating there since you learned how to skate.
Yeah.
And you know your way around the city. Has that helped you in development camp this year?
Yeah, I think a lot of the guys are comfortable coming out and reaching out now and asking me questions. And we got to know some of the guys over the years, so it makes it a little bit easier for them. But to help the new guys out and make sure they're going from A to B and getting to the right spot is definitely something that some of the older guys and guys that have been around have to make sure they're doing, and makes it a little bit easier for me since I know everywhere around this rink so far.
Do you think this is your third development camp, right?
Yeah.
Do you think this now that you've approached it differently this year than you did your first development camp?
Yeah, I think the first development camp you're a little bit more nervous and you got to get the nerves out of the way quickly, but at the end of the day, I think it's nerve-wracking for everybody. You want to prove yourself at different stages of your career, so you come in a little more comfort, but at the same time, you got to bring other things to the group.
So last season, when you were here at development camp, you're preparing to play your sophomore season at ASU.
Yeah.
That season ends, you jump right into pro hockey.
Yeah.
What was that like? And literally the next week, you're out and playing in pro games. How was that transition from the college game to the pro game for you?
Yeah, I think doing it that way made it a little bit easier because you got to kind of jump right into it, not a lot of time to think about going to pro hockey. But the game, the player speed and the strength of guys isn't that much of a difference. It's the overall quickness and the decision making from pro to college is the biggest jump that you got to be prepared for.
Are you ready for that next step now? Like this summer, have you focused your training differently than you did a summer ago because it was college versus pro?
Yeah, that was one of the biggest things. You didn't want to get comfortable at the college level, and when you get comfortable, you stop gaining traction, and that was the biggest step for me is making sure I'm moving and working towards something this summer rather than knowing what I'm coming back to. I got goals now and different things to push for that I didn't have the last couple of years.
Now this part's going to be hard. And if I didn't ask you, I'd be remiss. Yeah. Your dad's a really good friend of mine, and he's meant a lot to me in this organization. But he has moved on to a great opportunity with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Does that change your outlook with this organization? Is it almost like your dad's not looking over your shoulder now? I know he is as a dad, and he always will, but he's not doing it from the organization anymore. Does it change your approach at all?
Yeah, I think it's something that we thought about, and it doesn't change really the approach to me. He's left me be kind of throughout the time that he's been here in Arizona, and I think the biggest thing is that obviously he loved the Coyotes in Arizona.
Absolutely.
And he'll always be a fan, but it's something that he felt like he needed to do almost and try a different thing and get a little more involved in hockey. And so he's excited, but at the same time, he's always going to be dad. He's always going to be making sure that
he's going to keep an eye on you, I'm sure. Yeah, and that's when we talked about him in this organization. You're here. It's not like he's never going to keep his eyes on the Coyotes. Like you're his son. Of course he's going to watch.
Yeah.
So the last thing I want to ask about your dad.
Yeah.
So we do know your dad is not great with his cell phone etiquette.
Yeah.
Actually answering back text, calls, messages, horrific.
Yeah.
And he always uses excuses like cell phone receptions, etc., which are not true.
Yeah.
Are you better at your cell phone management in returning texts, messages, and phone calls?
Barely.
Oh my God.
It's
really?
I'm better than
Josh.
him. I'm better than him, and I'm better than Carson. So I'm better
Carson's
than the two.
bad?
Carson's the worst. He
Really?
doesn't respond to anyone. So, and he's on his phone 24/7. So
That's
he has
incredible.
no excuse. He lives in the phone era. So
Yeah, so it's on him. You know, he gets a text, it's there.
He looks at it and
Horrific.
ignores me and laughs at me when I see him because I chirp him about it.
Yeah.
But they've both gotten better. I think my dad, he's gotten better, but once he gets like these times now when everyone's texting him, then there's no chance you're getting back
zero.
from him. So.
Well, Josh, we've had a great time watching you develop. Can't wait to see what you do this year. Wherever the cards fall, and we just don't know until training camp. So we'll see you again in the fall. Thanks for taking the time. Steve Peters, thanks for joining us on another edition of Walkin and Talkin.